Hey, how's it going? Today I want to look at all the HDLI trailers that I've made so far, probably also the Patriots, and find any little paint jobs or logic that's not connected. Do all the finishing touches and just go through it with everyone so you can see kind of what needs to be done to really finalize these things before they go to the workshop. Okay, so let's start with trailer 22 doesn't exist. 23, we're missing the pipe that goes across there. Now I can't actually remember where that pipe was. So it's one block away from the fluid port. Pipe added. Now let's check the logic. We're going up into the controller and we're going out into the back. We've got no trailer steering in here because this one doesn't really need trailer steering. Down the bottom here we've got a bit of painting that's wrong. That needs painting. The color here for the backlight color, I don't think there's any backlight display. Yeah, no backlight coming into that. Electricity looks like it's connected. Except the light. The light is not connected. It looks like it went over something here. And I might want to put the ladder on the front like I did with the other ones. But I have a controller in here at the moment. So the easiest thing for this controller will be to spin it around. Merge it back in on the other side, and then it looks like the boosters are going into it a little bit there. Because it's like doing all this weird funny business, it's probably advisable to just seal that up completely. And then that gives me full access to put all the ladders on the front. Paint it up. And now I'll also want to check the fluid capacity. So I've got 2785. And on here we're measuring 28. So the capacity hasn't really changed too much. I'm okay saying that it's 28, even though it's more like 27.5. And I get the feeling there was an invisible block down the bottom somewhere. Yep, see that? So when it rolled back, the first time I spawned it in, the tow bar lifted up over something that wasn't there. So that's what that is. And if that's there, it might be good to check anything further forwards. And further back. So this kind of block here, I don't know what subgrid it would be on, but it would most likely be within the floor. And it feels a little bit like there's these kind of invisible blocks everywhere on my trailers. See, it looks like there might be one there as well. And even not just on my trailers, but on my trucks as well. So I don't know how they got in there, but they seem to be everywhere, and I'm having a real hard time finding them in the first place. If you're using any of my trailers or any trucks and you notice it being a bit weird, like bouncing around or interacting weird, let me know, because it's most likely a block somewhere that I just can't see, don't know where it is, and the only way I'm ever going to find it is if someone points it out to me. And I think I put those rope anchors in exactly the same place on the front just by accident. So I think this one is complete. We can get in. We should test that the light works. And something just fell off the front. The problem with Stormworks, yeah, it's a bit of a problem that when stuff falls off, it can just fall into the void. So you have no idea what actually fell off and where it was. The light comes on. We can climb out. So something's falling off it. Oh yeah, there's some green blocks that got trapped in the middle there. I think it was just one. Yeah. 23, most likely good to go. Now 24, we are missing the ladder on the front with this as well, so we'll have to do the same thing. This one would be one ladder shorter because it doesn't go all the way down to the bottom. But that's fine as long as there's something you can grab onto and interact with. And I'm going to go same deal, just close it all up. It's a case of what's simpler. And I guess we should check for invisible blocks also with this, because yes, seems to be a whole lot. There's at least two, then a third one down here. This is probably, you know, something you need to be mindful of if you start XMLing things. You may just end up leaving a block somewhere in a file and then it's just becomes near impossible to get it out. Sometimes you can search through the file and you can find the block that has an R value of all the zeros. Not all the time it's going to work though. And we've got the same situation on the back of this one. Not painted. All the logic appears to be connected. Electricity. Going through the lights. So on this one, you can see all the switches were up at the front. And I remember not enjoying that, which actually means this whole front segment can square off. Actually, no, it visually looks better if it's like that. Well, we should have a look at 25. So I've got one block and one block, except I only need it up the front. So it should be trailer legs, disconnect trailer, and brake override. And pay attention to which way those switches are going. They're on the bottom and they flip down. Here they're on the bottom and they flip down. So on the left, we have disconnect trailer. So I need to spin this one around. If I press U, that will flip it sideways. And then when I rotate it, it should just be in the correct orientation. We'll spawn it in, see if there's any funny stuff with anything down here it's colliding with. I don't think so. I think I got rid of all those invisible blocks. Lights turn on. Turn on the whole way, which is good. We can get in, we can get out. All those pipes appear to be the right color. We've got the logo. Brakes, disconnect. Trailer legs go forwards, but I think that was okay on these ones. This marker on the back is the wrong color. I know it's happened on a few of them where the base color is just wrong, and it means that all the paintable area around them is wrong as well. This is painted on the bottom correctly. The logic is connected to the fluid level. The electricity is all connected. There is a battery in this one. That's something that maybe not all of them have. And then we can move on to trailer 25. So none of the electricity is connected on this one. We've got a ladder on the front. Our buttons have been moved around to the side. Looks like the paint on here is being corrected. Our logic appears to be connected. This one was a real struggle, a real fight with the logic. So I am a bit more trusting that the logic is actually just all perfectly connected here. Come down to the markers, across the trailer leg to the next markers. So here we need to grab, this is an instrument panel. We need power to the track. We don't need power to any of these hard points, but we have a battery, a dial. This is basically the end of the trailer here. And then from this section, it needs to drop down to the key and then probably into the fifth wheel. Then from the fifth wheel I can connect into the lights. So now we're all chained through. I don't think anything else needs electricity on this. And we better do a check for invisible blocks. I think this was one of the first trailers where there was an invisible block problem. So there's probably nothing really going on here. I think we're okay. Should be okay. 25. Let's spawn in, have a look. All that weight is the axles flicking it backwards. Got override, trailer legs, and disconnect trailer that we can't check really. Not without getting a truck in here. We've got lights. I might just flatten off the whole front of that. We can get in, we can get out. All the paint appears alright. These are correct. Everything appears to be okay, but I will just fill in this very last row just to flatten it off and make it consistent. On to 26. We'll first start with the invisible block check. Yeah, I think I got rid of most of the invisible blocks after the first time I found them. The color along here appears to be wrong. Got a totally grayed out bottom. Red top. The lights appear to be correct. Let's change the additive actually real quick. Okay, those appear to be okay. Oh, we have this connector in the middle, which has no pivot on it. And I might even change these ones. Later on, I ended up doing this with the 1x2 wedge, and I thought it was quite a bit more interesting. Yeah, I think I'll do that. Now, electricity I think is all connected through here. We have the correct instrument cluster set up. There probably isn't. Yes, we have all the correct shading inside the doors. We have correct shading through here. Electricity. We've got a battery. Everything appears to be connected. Now with logic, this is one of those ones where you want to make sure you're sticking to the clusters. Let's spawn it in and have a look. I don't want to have any delay. So when I push this button and this button, I want all the buttons to go on. Oh, the color of the number plate here seems different. And then will these turn all the lights off? Again, another Ford's folding legs. Kind of strange, but I don't think it's a problem. The logic appears to be okay. And so I think it's just the paint on the number plate. Something different about this paint. Yeah, so here you can clearly see it's just a different color. An easy solution to fix any of those would be to put down a blob of it and then replace all color on that. Say 26 is good to go. 27 is probably going to be much of the same. Yep, same problem with the gray. Same problem with the markers. Which is interesting because the colors should have been like pulled from the same lights. All the marker lights should have been pulled from the same source. And with this, I will change over to the new 1x2 wedge. Well, I don't know if you call it new. New idea. I think this is mostly going to be the same because it was basically just the same trailer cut shorter. Seems like we've got the same idea with composite. All the logic appears connected. Electricity, we don't connect to the battery though. Get rid of these connectors and hook it up closer to where they actually are. And let's do an invisible block test. Yep, it appears to be good. Trailer 27 is good to go. 28. I want to do invisible blocks with this first because this was a real big one. I think this is mostly new block placement, so I don't think there's any invisible blocks in here. No invisible blocks. We need to make sure there's a battery somewhere inside of this, possibly even 2 batteries. I think there's one embedded down here, but we probably should have one up in this section at the top, because when the top part of it disconnects, this maggle is the only thing that's going to be holding on, and that probably does need its own power supply. I think I can get away with putting it in here though. So we've got power in, power across to, I think these were markers, and that's also presenting a new issue. But this has marker lights connected to the top section, the gooseneck section, and then it has marker lights that are connected down at the bottom as well. We've also got winches all the way along this that probably all need to be tested. We have logic from the trailer, which is only connecting to the hard point and then being passed through from that hard point, which means all the logic up here is only controlling whether or not this disconnects from the truck or this piece down here disconnects. And essentially what I need to do extra is read off the truck if the marker lights are on. And it should only be a 1x2 microcontroller for this. It shouldn't need anything bigger than a 1x2. Now I am wondering, because this comes through into the subtat, but this trailer is going to be temporarily disconnected from the truck. So do I need to put toggles on some of these things? Like the marker lights, should that be some kind of push to toggle system? Especially the parking brake. The parking brake could probably be a push to toggle. There's also no brake override in here. So let's see anyway. Marker lights is number 5, channel 5. So in this one here, we can just go, need one of these. Channel 5, bop, bop, bop. Okay, so marker lights for this gooseneck piece is connected. We have up the top, disconnect trailer and disconnect gooseneck. But down on the actual trailer, I think I need to get a brake override system added. I should put all the instrument panels in the same place. So this is the brake override. Same kind of area as you'll find it on my other trailers. And we'll need an electrical connection for that. And then this needs its output to go into the subtat, which I think is full. My solution is going to be make the controller longer. That should do it. Either this channel from the brake override panel or from the truck will give you the parking brake. And we are sacrificing, I think, this rocket. Not the worst deal. Not losing really anything from that. So brake override panel. Electrical is connected. Logic is connected. This would be the kind of trailer where you want trailer steering enabled. And we luckily have 2 more slots for trailer steering. I can never remember which way you do this, so we'll just guess it. There you go, trailer steering has been added. Whether or not it works, it might be something to come and look into later. And we just need to do a bit of touch up on the paint. The reverse lights on this are also kind of hodgepodge looking. Well, the paintable part appears to be okay. I think maybe I should rotate the reversing light. Nope, I'm not a fan of that. I'm going to extend where the brake lights go to. Kind of try and merge it into the body of the brake light. My number plate is painted incorrectly again. We've got grey down here. We've got grey down here. All the painting appears fine. And we checked for invisible blocks, so this should be okay. Now, 29. 29 is just a dolly. Shouldn't be anything major here. Electricity is all connected. I don't think there are any batteries on this. Also, we're missing some pipes. Missing a lot of pipes. This appears to be different than the other ones I'm using. So I need a battery and I need to update the front of that. I think the battery could go in here. I'm fine with that. Connect it down onto both of those. We're all chained through. And see, it might be when I load in trailer parts that I bring across an unwanted drawbar or unwanted invisible block when I'm trying to get something else. It's pretty close. The only difference is there's a pipe in here. And these two parts are moved backwards. So rather than destroying everything, just cutting and pasting it works a lot better. And then to make sure, definitely don't bring any blocks across. Cut that out. And let's do an invisible block test. I think as well, I just want to have a load in for 30, this one. So this one has this like 1x2 wedge that comes down and pokes this thing out a little bit further. And I think I would like to do that. I think it looked quite good. So this is actually one block out. Then we have one block, merge it. And we use a 1x2. I think it looked just a little bit nicer doing it that way. So I've got Subtat. Logic is probably connected. Marker lights appear to be connected. And so we're just looking for any invisible blocks. I think if I'm not usually finding them on the very first central piece, then I don't think it's likely they're anywhere else. All the painting appears to be fine. The sides are not painted here. 29. Good to go. And now 30 is a unique one. I'm not sure if I want to paint the tops of these. I think I need to for consistency. The lights appear to be okay. Pipes are okay. Alright, we're missing a battery. Same deal as before, I'm just going to hide it in before the connector. Nice and easy, connect everything to the front and then connect the battery somewhere in the back. The bottom of this should probably be grey as well. Like that. So all the top and exterior is blue and then the internals and underside is all grey. This one actually doesn't have the same ground clearance as the newer trailers. I think I'll let it slide though because it looks a little bit different. Let's have a look for any invisible blocks. Seems okay. 30 is ready to go. Now 31. This is the one I was thinking. It has this grey block here. So some of these ones have, some of this top section is still a different grey. But make sure we've got boosters in the top, boosters in the bottom. The additive color here might need to change. All our controls are there. Doors there, tracks are all in place. The grey on the number plate, is that correct? Okay, that seems all okay. Electricity does not seem to be connected. Is there a battery? Actually, this one has a battery with the chiller unit, so I got the chiller finished. I saved it with the other unit on it. Whoops. I finished this chiller unit before I started today. It is ready and it should just be able to be attached. Where the microcontroller is to control the engine is separate from the other microcontrollers, so just pasting it on is fine. But the chiller has a battery connected to it. So from the rear, we're all connected. We have the connection for the slider. Here's the track. Going down to marker lights. And then we're connected for the battery on the front. The only thing I need to do with the chiller is I added these gauges and dials down here. So we have a fuel level gauge, a battery charge gauge, and a current generator output gauge or dial. Rope anchors on the top. All the logic I think is fine on this one, and there shouldn't be any invisible blocks. I will be upset if there is. Looks like it's fine. So this is 31. 31's good to go. I'm going to need the chiller from 32 again. Oh no, here's the chiller. Excelente. It's in this exact same place, so very good. Paste that on and that'll give us the electricity. All the painting appears to be correct. Got rocket boosters in the roof. All the normal logic appears to be okay, so now I can just connect all the electricity. What do you want to be looking out for when you've got these traces of electricity going across each other? When you hover over one of them, it highlights which ones it's connected to. So you want to make sure it's always the one to the left and the right of it, and not, if I highlight this, you can see it's connected all the way over to the one beyond this brake light connector, or beyond the reverse light connector. Have a look for some invisible blocks. I think we should be fine for checking invisible blocks now. It seems like it was only on those earlier ones. Before I really realized what it was, and it was a barrel. Okay, trailer 32, give it a spawn. I'm a bit worried sometimes when they bounce. So we've got generated electricity, chiller battery, and chiller fuel, and the electrical connector is white instead of grey. And there's also a spot under here. I'm fine with those ones because I'm going to have to come back. I'm going to have to come back and revisit the whole chiller unit anyway. So it's really just like connecting the electricity for the chillers. It seems like all the logic's connected. That one's nice and easy. Trailer 33 is mostly good to go. 34 is moved. It's on a different plane for the other 30s, other chiller trailers. Which means I should check this one for invisible blocks and double check what kind of drawbar it's got on it as well. Seems okay. Nothing crazy's going on here. Okay, and is the drawbar? I think that's the new one. Electricity, looks like it's all connected as well. Comes through, yeah, okay. Just at the back here where it's a bit mangled. Double check the painting on this. I suspect some of these markers down here will be black or the wrong kind of grey. I'm pretty sure there's one where it is too dark on this side, on the right hand side, and it's only one of them. The number plate for this one is not white, or the behind it area is not white. got grey on the insides. Everything appears to be in order. There may not be a battery in here. And the electricity isn't connected. That one's pretty simple. There's no subtat on this at all. So there would be no brakes applied to anything on here. So I just went and grabbed a subtat controller. See how I can rip it apart. I think I've got this space in here should be okay. If I can shrink this down into a 3x3, so I'm going to get rid of trailer comp in and the two steerings. Trailer legs, disconnect trailer. If I have the trailer comp in, then I can do the brake override for this. So it's really just the steering. If I get rid of the steering, get rid of the legs and disconnect trailer, bring all this down. So we've got the brake and the brake override at the top. This is this trailer steering down the bottom. Make it a bit shorter. And I might paint the top of those. That makes it consistent with the other pieces, the other dollies and fenders and things. And I need to get a instrument panel and hide it somewhere so that you can turn the brakes on for this. Actually, there would be a good spot. So it's just this one. Copy. I should check the other dollies and see if I can put this in the same area for them. Make sure the paint is okay and then connect everything up here. We need electricity. And then what have we got? Trailer brakes. Just connect all the normal logic. Okay, that is done. Where can I put this? Up here? Good enough. Now, I don't think... what? I've got two truck comp ins. Only one of them's connected. Parking brake, marker lights, reverse lights. Is this just a extra controller or something? I think it's just an extra controller. This one up here actually isn't doing anything. Let's have a look around. So it seems like there's no weird clipping or anything. It's just like another controller that I must have left or forgotten. It's connected to reverse lights and marker lights, but it's not. They're connected to the front one, which means it's a duplicate. Which then also means from here, I should get rid of whatever these are. I'll have to test this one properly as well. So parking brake, I will get rid of this. And the parking brake can be handled by this duplicate. Because I need to get rid of all of this. We need the truck comp in. And a trailer comp in. So we have trailer to trailer. And then truck. Yep, so 29 I think could have one of these as well. One of these brake overrides. And this brake override isn't actually connected into itself. And so I've got the same kind of situation here where there's like a trailer controller. And I'm going to have to cut the brakes off this one and put them into a different one. This dolly seems like it's a lot more open, a lot more skeletal than the last one where I had that duplicate microcontroller. I could just do this, right? And then we take this controller and just expand it. And so I need to bring the brakes into this one, which is 1 or 6. Alright, into these ones. 36. Yeah, the side markers on these ones appear to be the wrong color. The wrong shade of gray. The license plate is also the wrong shade of gray. Let's have a look for invisible blocks, because this one is pretty suspect. Seems okay. What about the electricity? It's all connected. The toolbox is not connected. And there does not appear to be a battery on this one. Okay, we need a battery. I may be able to hide a battery. Oh yeah, I could just cut away a piece like that. There you go, battery added. Now, I believe all the logic was connected correctly for this one. One thing I might want to do is add a brake for the spare wheel. I don't know if it's really an issue. It might start spinning on its own, but it's sideways, so it doesn't detect where the ground is anyway. The other thing I wanted to address was this mess. So running it all through one system gives me a lot of lag, a lot of tick delay. So if I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, basically I want to try and cut this down so that I can reduce the tick delay when you're enabling and disabling these connectors. I've got 2 more input outputs. So the easiest thing to do without changing anything is to rename this to front panel chain, and then add 2 more, and we have rear panel chain. This may not help too much. It will help somewhat though. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These top 8 are the front panel chain, and then these bottom ones are the rear panel chain. And essentially, I'm just copying this. I'm copying this thing here, and this starts at like 3. Starts at 3 and goes to 22. It only needs to go probably halfway to like 12 or something. Yep, to 12. It actually needs to go less than 12. It could go to 11, I think. Oh, I guessed 1 too many. Go to 10. So now it's only connected to all these top ones. So if I now start at channel 15, which is the indicator light for this first set here, now this can just be connected as its own separate system to that. And this means that the tick delay is still there, but now it only has to go through like half the amount. So the tick delay should be reduced by half, essentially. Okay, so now it's separated out in the logic. All the logic is essentially the same, but it's just being cut in half. And so now we've got 1 and then 2. So from here, instead of going into the next chain, we want to find the front panel chain and then disconnect from the rear. And then same on this side, I want to disconnect from that. And that's the front panel chain. So now that's all connected on its own thing. And then from here, we want to go back into rear panel chain, and same on this side. And so, yeah, so this is 1/2 and that's 1/2, and they're totally isolated now. Let's spawn this in. No invisible blocks. Hopefully the tick delay is better. It's still there. I still notice it, but it is better. I think we're good to go. So this was the main problem with this trailer, was that wedge had been deleted. Oh, and the electricity isn't connected. Huh, how very strange. So I think on the previous one, the toolbox wasn't connected and there was no battery on this. Should be another simple fix. I think I'm just gonna do it like that because I'm feeling a bit lazy. Sometimes I'll hide them upside down so it just looks like part of the panel work, and sometimes I'll expose them specifically so you can find it easily. In this particular situation, I just don't care. And we've got painted wrong colors lighting somehow. The markers have the wrong gray. I don't know how that happens, because some of them it's fine. Then the license plate's wrong as well. I want to check for invisible blocks. I think mainly just checking down the middle is fine. We've got on this one, disconnect trailer, trailer legs, and brake override. So obviously we don't need this front section. I need to go back and check that a lot of these ones are actually going to the in signal. Check the pivot is all dead. And we'll check the electricity now that we've deleted. Yeah, because we deleted that instrument panel, that disconnected the one directly next to it. And we'll spawn this in, make sure it doesn't do nothing majorly weird going on there. Before I get into these last two, I'm going to go back. There's no brake. Okay, the brake override on this one is in the wrong place. So by doing like another sweep across them again, having done a sweep from newest or oldest to newest, it highlights a lot of the things that maybe I overlook as I'm going through it the first time. And you start to like build a mental library of all the things that you need to look out for. See, all the number plates I think will be wrong. 24's number plate was wrong. That's the main thing I'm checking now, is number plates and these side markers. And the composite signal on here forming some kind of feedback. I think I just didn't connect these connectors here at all. Or I did something wrong with the way that the light turns on. Yeah, so the light is already on with these. It should be off. Should be off, which means in here, I think I've done this backwards. So if I have a look at how it's done on 28, the push to toggle is connected to the writing for the output, and the connector set is connected to the NOT. So here, the connectors are not connected to the NOT. So we're just writing it back to front. Now those lights should both be off. It's kind of unfortunate that it sort of clips into that block, but at the same time, the only other place I could probably put it is like on top, but then you might park something on top of it. We could put it beside this, but then you also might park something on top of it. At least if it's there, it's in the same place you expect it to be for every other trailer. Here we go, 34 doesn't have the feedback. 35, no feedback on 35. Now 38, this one doesn't have the big piston in the bottom. So I'm going to go straight into 39. Make sure we've got feedback here. I'm just going to kind of go the reverse direction, I suppose. Yeah, all the paint is a bit screwy on these ones. So we've got a painted license plate. All the lights and markers are painted correctly. The additive color is a bit weird on this. Might just make it the NSR red. You would never know because the additive color is so bad. Is there a battery in here somewhere? I don't think there is. I'm going to do an exposed on the bottom battery because that makes it easier to hide the top, keep the top flat. Okay, so we're connected to the battery. Now connecting the side markers into the legs. Side markers into the side markers, and then side markers back into the outer pivot. Then we're connecting up onto the front. The track slider doesn't need power and it needs to be made dead. And then we can connect into the top there. Okay, so 39 should be okay. There's no trailer steering hooked up. I don't know, do you want trailer steering on a big thing like this? So let's say 39's done. So now I need to somehow do a big chop in the middle and bring it down to the length of 38. And I probably should check for invisible blocks on these ones. Oh yeah, there you go. Invisible blocks. So I will grab 39 and do the invisible block test. Because I'm basically going to take 39. Yeah, so 39 was a new frame. That's why it's not picking up any block in the middle there now. I'm going to take this and then figure out the length of 38 and just do a big chop out of this. I was going to import 38 onto the 39 file, but because it's got an invisible block, the best thing to do is probably look at how many hoppers are in the back here. So it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hoppers in the back. Just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and just chop that. It's mostly where the guard things are. So I'm going to cut this, drop it down, and what I could do is instead of cutting from the end, is cut in the middle. That makes a bit more sense. Cut in the middle and then readjust the side. So I'll grab a big piece of side panel, get rid of all that. So this will give me the piston. The piston will all be intact. The trailer legs are intact. The logic is all intact. And yeah, I probably need to cut out these. Cut out as much as I can to make sure that it's just an easy case of replacing. Yeah, you see if I bring this back too far, kind of encroaching on where a lot of like decorative stuff is. And I think I'm going to have to ditch an axle as well. So now what I do is I'll grab the whole underside thing. So this was like a rail thing that came all the way up to the front. This piece along here, right? And the only place it's really interfering is with the legs. Okay, so the distance was so much further that it didn't have to interfere with the legs at all. What I need to do now though is basically cut this top section and shuffle it forwards. So I'm getting rid of pretty much all that. And now I've got this shortened guardrail piece. I can cut this as one whole thing, sift it up into here, and then try and figure this mess out. So it connects onto where this green piece is, and this yellow piece connects to where the green bit is as well. And then that carries on through these tracks. So that connects to there. So far, so good. Except you can see the leg here is going to fold up into where this pivot is. The distance between the connector and the legs is fine. So I just need to figure out something else to do with that. And then these legs don't even fold up all the way because they had that kind of wedge thing going through them. And I've also got, there's this thing here, which won't interfere with the piston because it's going up. If I paste another one, that gives me a bit more like decoration. Everything seems to be like totally sealed up, so the only real issue is getting another pivot into here. Otherwise I only have one pivot holding that rail on. I'm going to put the legs up. Well, so hold on a minute. Because this black piece along here, this edge, that's what I was thinking I could connect a pivot into, but it's going to totally rotate away. Also, the buttons are on there. They should probably be brought down and put on the side of this on a hinged thing that comes down or something. So it's going to be that one because, you know, I can't really put my pivots too far forwards. That's as much as I've got. It's very close to this bar though, so maybe I would move that back. This piece here needs to move though. It needs to be off the main body of that, and probably there's not much I can do because if I drop it down, then it's going to interfere with where the truck is. Probably the best option is to cut out some of the front piece like that. Have sort of a wider platform thing at the very front. Also, I've deleted a hard point that was there. So yeah, this is kind of a solution to everything. I need to move it forwards. I need to put a hard point back in there. And that hard point is connected to the tipping part. We still have all the controls. It just looks a lot more broken, that's all. I'm quite tempted to put on a little platformy thing that comes out like that. I really don't like that all of that gets lost. Now, all the electricity will be totally botched. It actually wasn't connected very well in the first place. I still think that piston's just funnily, it's humorous how large it is. So if I can get a trailer to spin around and not hit that thing, then I think that's it. We just need to cut off the side and attach this one back in so that it's all lined up correctly. Looks like I just need an extra stretched wedge down the end here. One of these to go like that. Flip this, put it on the other side. Merge, 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 merge. Okay. Show us the clearance. Yeah, it looks fine. There's probably a better way to do that, and I might find one eventually. But for now, I think that's a good substitute solution. So now I need to take some of those learnings from 38 and apply them here. With the only thing being that I need to cut this down, chop it out and move it up to here. Put a hard point back in. It's one block directly in front of the wheel. Very good. Doing this is going to very quickly show where incompatibilities are and where mistakes have been made. For instance, this one, trailer 2, has no way to connect another trailer to it. Is that something I want though? I don't ever think I wanted that trailer to have a way to connect anything to it. Right then. Here is pretty much every major trailer I worked on over this project. We've got the set from Fast and Furious. Yes, okay, we're connected. We're also connected, which is kind of not good. We've got to make sure that we've got keys on a lot of these connectors so you can actually, you know, control everything how you want to control it. We're all connected. Get rid of these legs. Oh, that's the disconnect trailer. This trailer is wrong. Which one is this? This is like the ultimate way to see what's wrong and what's right. So a bunch of them are missing keys off the rear to disconnect. This trailer, which I think is either 24 or 25, has the wrong order of switches. I did actually have to move the connectors on 26 and 27 because they were too far back. They were not going to, come on. They were not going to let anything connect on top of them. I've got trailer legs. Connect. At least I've got keys on these ones. Oh, these ones are a bit backwards as well. The chiller units. Where there is keys though, it seems like they're doing their job. I think this kind of drawbar is working really well, giving you a place to hop in and out to push and pull it around, because when you push Q and E on an electrical connector and try and move things that way, the character's just not strong enough. But if you're just running into something to push it, then you are strong enough. So for instance here, this is probably going to roll forwards enough to connect. But if it didn't, I would have been able to hop in that hole of the drawbar and push it forwards. So in this case, I'm able to push this whole trailer, a dolly and a trailer, just by hopping in there. Yeah, so it seems like some things are a bit weird. The height difference here is not correct for some reason. It's a bit too high on the ore transport trailers. Yeah, it's one block too high on ore transport. I think it's okay on these two green container transports. It's okay on the chiller units. I really like this little thing. Maybe the HCLI needs to change a little bit. I can do that some other time. The chain breaks somewhere. So between when you come onto this trailer, the container one, or just the MCS compatible one, it's not sending down the indicator signal, which means it's actually this trailer here, the extending fuel tank one, it's not passing on the SIBTAT signal for anything by the look of it. So none of the brake lights will work, none of the brakes will work at all. So all those trailers back there, none of the brake signal is getting sent through into these. But they're all basically done, right? They're so close to being done. I'm at the point now where I can definitely make thumbnails for all of these, and I usually don't write too much about the trailer for the workshop. But getting a thumbnail done in the template, these are all HCLI, so they go into an HCLI template, and then they'll just get put on the workshop, and I'm going to dump them all at the same time. So by the time this video comes out, these will all be fixed, ready, uploaded, everything completed. The trucks, I'll have a look at the trucks tomorrow, and they will probably also be on the same schedule for release. So everything will get released all at once in the next couple of days. Well, for you, it'll be now. So go and have a look. I will add the link in the description to the HCLI collection, and that is where you will find everything HCLI. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.